What is going on, everyone? You are all very welcome back to the Gaelic Gridiron podcast, sponsored by printmypint.ie. Print My Pint. Make sure you check them out for your next event, bringing something a little extra to whether you're having a wedding, whether you're having a birthday party, or any sort of celebration. We are very grateful for their support. Speaking of weddings, before we get stuck into it, a big congratulations to our very own John Menton and his new bride Anya, who are married in the Druids Glen Hotel there on Saturday evening. And myself and Twist were celebrating the occasion with John and his family and friends. There was a couple of pints had, but it was a very tame occasion overall for the three lads. But look, such a beautiful day, wonderful ceremony. So we wish John and Anya the very best, and hopefully we'll have John back writing for the website very soon. Twist, week 2, we'll get into it now. Lots to get through. But before we do get into that, I would like to, first of all, welcome back all our regular listeners and viewers, but also to all our new subscribers who have entered our competition. So we are doing what I believe to be the biggest NFL giveaway ever for Irish fans. We are giving listeners and subscribers and followers the chance to win 2 tickets to the Steelers and Vikings in Croke Park in less than 2 weeks' time. So if you have subscribed to the podcast as part of that competition, thank you very much. If you're listening and you haven't entered the competition yet, do get over to our social medias at Gaelic Gridiron. And yeah, get in with the chance. It'll be running right up until the day before the game, so you have loads of chances to win and to be at that game. So make sure you get involved. Twist, speaking of the Steelers, we'll talk about the Vikings as well in a little while. But speaking of the Steelers, pretty much, I mean, it went from bad to worse on Sunday afternoon in Pittsburgh against the Seahawks. Some flashes, few and far between, but overall, I mean, pretty disappointing performance. I mean, myself and yourself were texting during the game, and it was just it went downhill rapidly after a while.
Yeah, I mean, just to add on to your congratulations to John and Anya, here we go, Mentons.
Here we go, Mentons.
But anyway, the Steelers,
so bad.
It's not that like I'm annoyed. I'm still in the whole like apathetic, disappointed. Like it is what it is. I'm repping my Penguins jersey tonight. I feel like the Steelers are in rebuild mode, the way the Penguins are, even though they're all in apparently to win now. It just watching the offense, it brought back memories of past offensive coordinators who were awful. Matt Canada,
Todd Haley,
guy in between those two. I can't remember. He was one and done. But it was the very apathetic, very lethargic run pass, or that was it. It was very predictable offense. Caleb Johnson's getting run out of Pittsburgh. He's absolutely going to get run out of Pittsburgh 2 weeks in a row with a special teams gaff. I know he's a rookie start on special teams. I mean, Danny, the special teams coordinator, it's very weird to see a special teams player on the Steelers make 2 big mistakes back to back. He has them drilled to perfection almost. It's why we've had special teams players called to the Pro Bowl twice, in the past 2 years, because they're drilled so well. So seeing that gaff, that landing zone gaff that gave the Seahawks the touchdown, that just killed the game.
But whatever about, okay, fair enough. You're on special teams. You're the returner, especially for kickoff. You should know the rules inside out. You've been drilling this every day in training camp and in practice. If you're the returner, your responsibility is that ball, no matter what. Whatever about, okay, maybe he wasn't aware of the specifics of the landing zone rule, that was a live ball. But at the very least, look behind you and make sure that the ball has actually gone out of the back of the end zone. And if it hasn't, protect that ball. I mean, I just couldn't believe it watching it. That it was definitely at that point that I knew the Steelers were done. That we weren't getting back into that game. And to make matters worse, then our defense let Kenneth Walker dance into the end zone. I mean, in the fourth quarter, literally untouched, 15, 16 yards. I think at that point, we had just kind of given up. Maybe the fight was gone out of us.
I will say, shout out to Coach Romo. When I used to play in the Irish League, he drilled into all of us that I don't care what special teams play it is, treat every special teams play as a live ball. Just like if you see another player running towards it, down it. Like get on the ball, like sort it out. Don't ignore it. Don't look past it. If you touch it, it's live. Like just it's like I don't want to keep harping on, but it's high school stuff. It's like football stuff. Like the ball is live.
Play through the whistle. Play to the whistle. Yeah. I mean, if you don't hear that whistle, the play is still live. And if in doubt, knock somebody out and all that kind of special team stuff that you were taught.
Our defense getting gashed again on the ground. Like highest paid defense in the league. Tomlin harping on, purposely built to stop the run. We did have a lot of injuries. We did a lot of missing players. Players were banged up all game. Still, if you're harping on that this defense is purely built to stop the run, you expect at least the second string guys to be like hard mouth, smash football, fill the gaps, force the runner into the middle to meet Cam Hayward and go. That didn't happen again, second week in a row. As it has been now Steelers tradition, our secondary is a liability to this day. Like, yes, Ramsey had a nice interception, but
He also gave up a touchdown as well. He was completely they ran by him, completely ran by him. He was at least two steps short behind the receiver and out of position as well.
I will say, and probably I'm going to make 2 points before we move off the Steelers because this isn't the Steelers podcast. But one, the Steelers were great on Sunday except for offense, defense, and special teams.
But, I mean, there was a couple of, sorry to interrupt, let's not be completely pessimistic. There were a few bright spots. We're not going to go into them in huge amount of detail. But, like, if you are grasping at straws, you're going to look at, okay, Jalen Ramsey had his first interception as a Steeler. Nick Herbig had his first interception as a Steeler. And, I mean, there are talented guys as as rookies. Jack Sawyer came in relief, a late-round draft pick this year and had a sack, his first career sack. So there is potential there. So it's not all doom and gloom. I just think it's the fact that you said it. This is the highest paid defense now. You have the second highest paid edge rusher, defender, and non-quarterback in the league in TJ. You have Cam Hayward, who basically, bullied the Steelers into giving a raise this year, and he went missing the entire game again.
Yeah, I mean, yes, there were flashes, and it wasn't overall a total mess of a performance, but it's not what we expect being hyped up. Now, I will say it is week 2. Don't bail out of the ship just yet. The problem is, I think, is that the Steelers don't like to play a lot of starters in preseason, so there's a lot of rust to deal with. We'll see. Basically, if we're stinking up the joint by the end of Dublin, then the season is probably going to be a tank fest. But it's now a point of Aaron Rodgers was unbelievably frustrated the whole game. You could see it in his mannerisms. You could see the way he was talking to players and how he was reacting on the sideline. How many more weeks? Sound off on our social media. Comment on, tag us and posts and stuff. How many more weeks before Aaron Rodgers starts his crusade against
Mike Tomlin and the offensive coordinator,
or Terrell Austin, or Arthur Smith, or all three, and tries to get 1, 2, or even all three of them pushed out the door? Are we going to start seeing Aaron Rodgers on Pat McAfee if we lose against the Patriots this week?
Yeah, I mean, as promised, we are going to move away from this topic now in a minute. Otherwise, we could just sit here ranting against the Steelers for the next 45 minutes. But I think the two biggest things we need to improve on and rapidly, I mean, the Patriots aren't awful either. They have some weapons. They have some potential to cause an upset. I think that game in New England or Pittsburgh? I forget.
It's I have it in front of me. Where's it gone?
But regardless, I mean, run defense and pass protection are the two. Gillette Stadium. So run defense and pass protection are the two biggest things we need to fix immediately. Because if Aaron Rodgers has 4 sacks a game, and don't get me wrong, he moved quite well in the pocket. He was able to extend plays, but again, he is 41 years old. He needs this brand new offensive line that we have of 2 first-round draft picks and several other highly drafted offensive linemen to protect him. and give him time to actually get his receivers open.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the basis of football. That's the base state of football since day one. We need to do that. But to pivot away from this, because we keep going, let's talk about the barn burner of a game that ended up being on a random
17-10.
No, barn burner. I mean, an actual barn burner where Russell Wilson and Dak Prescott decided, you know what? Let's make this an instant classic of a game and like go down to overtime and just blow each other's defenses up for 4 quarters and ended on like a field goal. Like a game
ended on 2 field goals. Actually, a Brandon Aubrey 64-yarder to put it to overtime, and then another Brandon Aubrey 60-yard plus booter to. And I saw the video of Dak Prescott like breathing a sigh of relief after that one. Because I mean, if the Cowboys had a loss to the Giants, it would have been game over in Dallas, I think. But I think Russell Wilson also went out of his way to prove all his haters wrong in that game, showing that he still had it. I mean, so many, like, he was reeling in the years. I mean, he looked 10 years younger, and they were even saying it during the commentary that this was prime Russell Wilson, prime Seattle Russell Wilson.
Couple of beautiful, that absolute bomb to Neighbors, like. That was vintage Russell Wilson. Like the classic Russell Wilson moon ball that everyone thought that he does, but just landed perfectly. Neighbors catching it with the cornerback's forearm across his face mask, so we couldn't see. Like, and he still caught the ball for the touchdown. Like, it was nothing. I mean, yes, it's week 2. He is playing a better team. I don't know what happened last week. He just didn't show up. But like, a divisional game that goes like that, that's the type of Sunday football you want. But I will say, anyone who has a fan out there who's a Bengals fan, go hug them. Go hug them. Even if you don't like the Bengals, if you like the person, go give them a hug, because it's week 2 and Joe Burrow will probably not be back until the second week of December with a grade 3 toe turf injury that requires surgery due to ligament damage.
Yeah, it was confirmed earlier on social media by multiple NFL insiders that he is in fact going to have surgery. So Bengals fans, it must be just, banging their head against the wall now after such a promising season, such a promising game they were having as well. Joe Burrow pretty much right the season off, because there's no way that Jake Browning is going to, he's a very, very good quarterback, very, very good backup quarterback, and he did have that game-winning quarterback sneak against the Jaguars, but again, he is what he is. He's a limited product. He also did have 3 interceptions before he redeemed himself, so it is going to be a long season for the Bengals fans in the AFC North.
He is a above average backup, but he does suffer from feast or famine. Mm-hmm. With him, it's either you're going to get multiple touchdown games and he's going to look like Joe Burrow light, or he's just going to be like a mistake riddled. Like, this is why this guy's a backup. And, he's taken over for now. And, this Sunday coming, you're going to see him face off against possibly Carson Wentz, because J.J. McCarthy is out with an ankle sprain, according to Kevin O'Connell.
That's going to be very interesting, because I think Carson Wentz is one of those quarterbacks who, he got several attempts, several chances to start, and it never really took off for him. It didn't take off for him really in Kansas City. In Philadelphia, and he's made multiple stops since, including a Super Bowl win, a Super Bowl ring in Kansas City last season, and now. He also had a stop in Indianapolis, I think, as a kind of a stopgap between quarterbacks, and now he's back. He's in Minnesota with the potential to start for at least 1 week next week again. So it's the battle of the backups, the career backups at this stage next week.
Could be starting in Dublin against the Steelers.
That would be insane.
Yeah, Carson Wentz could be the quarterback to lead the Minnesota in Dublin.
I know we said we wouldn't go back to the Steelers, but I am genuinely worried now about that game if things don't improve drastically.
Like, both teams are awful. It's going to be a stinkfest unless they improve this week.
And so many stars potentially missing from that game as well. I mean,
Yeah,
Alex Highsmith, speaking of injuries, is
yeah,
out
he's
for
gone for 6 weeks.
6 weeks. They didn't put him on IR though, interestingly.
Yeah,
So
yeah. No, they didn't. They didn't. They don't seem to need to save the roster spot, which leads me to believe 6 weeks is the worst. They're hedging their bets that it's that bad, but he might be able to slip in when needed in recovery or an emergency situation. That's why they haven't put him on IR. They'll suffer the loss of the roster spot with him being like kept off IR.
just
But
just to go back quickly before we talk about this Bengal situation again in more detail, and quickly to talk about Russell Wilson. After the week one, people were basically telling him to pack his bags,
yeah,
and Brian Dabble's seat was getting hotter and hotter. Does this kind of give him a stay of execution, or is
I
he just is it a similar situation to what we had in Pittsburgh last year, where he was really really good, or well, I don't want to say really really good, but he was serviceable and he got wins and he pulled these moonball shots out of the air. But he did cost him the game in the end when he flew too close to the sun and was
yeah.
picked off. Or is it means does Jackson start? Does Brian Daboll just give into the pressure eventually towards the middle of the season and just start Jackson Dart?
You don't want to throw Jackson Dart to the Wolves this week against the Chiefs. At the very least, you send Russell Wilson out there, unless he has 2, maybe 3 interceptions against the Chiefs. Then you put in Jackson Dart, but you don't throw the rookie into that situation because you're just like putting him in that situation. If he goes out and he lights it up, brilliant. But his first start against like multi Super Bowl winning Patrick Mahomes, that defense, like put all that weight in his shoulders. If he fails and he fails miserably, that's going to
Yeah,
damage him like mentally for God knows how long. And you don't want to turn a potential superstar and franchise guy like Jackson Dart into a Bryce Young, by putting him in a situation where it can damage him like mentally. Um,
yeah. Bryce Young is toast.
but I will say, you mentioned the Colts because of Carson Wentz, Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
Like
who knew?
I've already seen a couple of like beat writers, obviously joking, but they're like, could he, if he keeps playing at this, could he be in the MVP talk? Could be definitely at least in comeback player of the year talk.
Mm.
So Colts fans, be excited. Keep an eye on him. Cautiously excited. Everyone in the AFC, don't write out the Colts off just yet. It's Daniel Jones. He's already got the nickname Indiana Jones, which I think
I
is
like that.
much better than Danny Dimes, Danny
I like
Jones.
that.
Like
He's had.
Indiana
I think
Jones,
he's had something like 4 rushing touchdowns in 2 games, 5 or 6 touchdowns total. I mean,
he's literally out there stealing wins the way Indy steals artifacts. Like he is, I don't know, it's a resurgence. We've still loads to talk to. I'm not going to go too deep, and I don't think we should go too deep into the Lions hammering the Bears because it's the Bears. I still stick with my prediction that the Lions are not a great team this year. Their biggest test is this week against the Ravens. If they can go out and convincingly beat the Ravens, I might change my stance on them. But any Lions fans out there smacking the Bears around 52 points is not something to be like, oh, we're great, we're back on top. It's the Bears.
I still think though that the NFC North is going to come down to the Packers and the Lions, just simply because the Vikings are in trouble at the minute with JJ McCarthy at quarterback,
Yeah,
and Caleb Johnson has just not got any better yet.
yeah. And I still
And,
think that
and, ben, and Ben Johnson was brought in to be the savior, and it just hasn't clicked so far. Now I know this all comes with the kind of disclaimer, like it is still week 2.
yeah,
We're not hitting the panic button just yet in any scenario, but you get to week 4, week 5, and you start get to
you start dialing up the panic just a little bit.
just a little bit, and like I mean the Bears are in division play and conference play already, so
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
you have to start fixing these things very quickly, otherwise the season starts to slip away from you.
I still think the NFC North is going to be Packers win it, Lions second.
Mm.
And Packers put on an impressive display against the Commanders, who are perennial challenger
Yeah, Thursday
um,
night football.
for them. So like Packers are rolling. I know again it's only week 2, but like week 1 you sorted your jitters. Week 2 you solidify your foundation. I think rolling into like this week, I mean, who are they playing again? Where's my schedule? Packers. Are they off this week? Or am I missing it?
They'd be off this week. No, they wouldn't be off this week because they were on Thursday Night Football.
Oh yeah, no, they'll be on later. But I mean, they're rolling in 2-0, and I'm not seeing them on the schedule for week 3.
Unless it's an early buy, is it?
That'd be mad early. Yeah, I mean, regardless of who they end up playing next. Oh, the Browns. Never mind. There you go. I couldn't say. I subconsciously skipped the Browns.
The Browns, the most irrelevant team in the NFL right now.
Packers 3-0. Let's go.
Yeah.
It is
Bank on that one. Browns had a meltdown again with Joe Flacco, a quarterback, and then they put in Dylan Gabriel in garbage time. I actually read something crazy that just blew my mind a little bit and possibly explains why Shedeur Sanders had that big fall back in April. He came out and said he didn't want to play for the Browns. Sorry, he didn't want to play for the Ravens because he didn't want to sit behind Lamar Jackson. He wanted to go somewhere and start immediately. And now he's stuck as the number 3 quarterback in Cleveland. So I think that's a little bit, of karma.
Sorry, that's hugely, if that is absolutely 100% verifiable, that's hugely egotistical because why wouldn't you want to sit behind
the best quarterback in the NFL?
MVP caliber quarterback, like who puts on a show every time he, like, I hate to say it, Steelers fan, but he puts on a show and phenomenal player that you as a quarterback could learn everything from. 2 years sitting behind him, he goes or he retires, moves on to a different team. You learn everything, and you're the franchise guy, and you get the big bucks, and you possibly win a Super Bowl learning everything that he taught you. I mean, it's this day and age of quarterbacks very rarely sit nowadays when they're drafted. They're thrown in, and it's feast or famine. Bryce Young, like absolute famine. CJ Stroud, fairly decent, looking good. Joe Burrow, prior to the injury to start the season, is a phenomenal quarterback. And then you look back in the days of old, as I say, quote unquote old, not even that long ago. Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre, Roethlisberger sat behind Maddox, Brady sat behind Bledsoe, and these guys came out and learned from the guys. And once they were given the reins, went up and ran because they had that confidence. So if that's true, it doesn't surprise me. It does match up with the character that's been reported on.
Just to go back to the Bengals really quickly, before I do want to talk about the Chiefs and the Eagles. Yeah. Obviously, it was America's game of the week on Fox last night, Irish time, and it was supposed to be the marquee matchup and didn't really turn into that. It was still a very interesting game though, until I fell asleep on the couch at about 11:30 and missed the rest of the game, but. The Bengals obviously are in trouble now because they can't really rely on Jake Browning to. Yeah. He's going to be there to mind to guard the fort really until whenever it is that Joe Burrow comes back. In your opinion, do the Bengals now? How do they kind of avoid the season from just taking a nosedive? Is it relying on the run with Chase Brown, or is it defense needs to step up now, and especially with the newly paid Trey Hendrickson? I mean, what's the kind of What's the plan there to keep them from going off the rails?
It's got to be conservative play with someone like Browning in place. You can't take Chase out of the game completely. You can't not throw the ball to him. I mean, it's a situation is he's got to be open down there somewhere. Like, you got to give them those 50-50 balls, because if you become completely one-dimensional on the run, you're going to end up like blowing out the season. I mean, just a quick look at the Bengals schedule there. Vikings are next, then Broncos, Lions, Packers, Steelers, Jets, Bears, Steelers, Patriots, Ravens, Bills, and then if Burrow is cleared for week 2, he'd be back for the Ravens on the 14th of December. If not, it'd be the Dolphins just before Christmas.
I mean, it's not that easy of a schedule by any means. You have your divisional rivals in there. You have the Bills, who blew out the Jets yesterday and will probably be in the AFC Championship game come January.
I mean, like the big ones, like you have Broncos who play close. You've got the Lions, the Packers, Steelers twice. You got the Ravens possibly twice with Burrow, depending on his injury status, and the Bills. a couple of gimme games in there, the Jets and the Bears, and then if Burrow isn't back, the Dolphins. But like, if Browning like basically crashes out, you're looking at maybe 3 wins out of those 8 games, if even. So the Bengals panic mode, yes, absolutely. When your franchise guy goes down, but trust the weapons you have now and see how the next couple of games play out. You shouldn't be too stressed. I say that because our franchise quarterback isn't gone down, but wouldn't be too stressed just yet. Browning is a serviceable quarterback.
As long as he limits his mistakes, particularly the interceptions. I mean, they got lucky, I think yesterday against the Jaguars because
Yeah,
the Jaguars ran them very close. I think Trevor Lawrence had a really good game yesterday. They just got really unlucky with drops.
yeah,
I mean, Trevor Lawrence, I think, is much maligned. I think he's just in a very, very bad situation. I think Liam Cohen is trying to turn things around there in Jacksonville. But yeah, Jay Browning just has to lean on his weapons now. I mean, he's T Higgins as number 2. He has Jamar Chase as number 1.
yeah.
You have Chase Brown, a really, really good running back. You have some really good weapons there in Cincinnati. It's just a case of utilizing those weapons now and doing what they can to limit mistakes.
Yeah, you might see a lot of dink and dunks out of the Bengals for the next half of the season. But if you get wins that way, a win is a win.
A win is a win.
It's safe play. But yeah, Eagles and Chiefs Super Bowl rematch.
Patrick Mahomes starts 0-2 for the first time in his career, and the ceiling is falling in Cincinnati, in Arrowhead in Kansas City, Missouri. Really, really close game. I tuned in at just after halftime, so I missed the first half, but like the second quarter was the second half was really, really interesting. Real defensive battle. I mean, I think Spagnuolo blitzed 64%. So I think it was 16 out of 25 dropbacks that they blitzed on, but the Eagles still managed to come out on top and foiled the Chiefs' chances at a Super Bowl revenge.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I said it, in our first podcast, I don't believe the Chiefs are going back to the AFC Championship game.
No.
I'm sticking with that.
Bills Ravens all day.
The Chiefs definitely have learned, from their previous meetings. They did hold Saquon for under 100 yards rushing, which is, a win when you're facing a generational running back like Saquon. It was a very defensive battle. Everyone expected a big, showy blowout or whatever. It was the type of football game I like, really close,
a chess match, really.
Literally a game of inches, a game of chess. That's it. One mistake and it's game. I had it on while I was playing Helldivers 2, which was great because I was like, I can watch both. I can focus on the game and I can focus on the Chiefs and Eagles, and it kept me entertained because I was like watching this close Titanic battle. And then the best part was it's either Hurts was mic'd up or Jones was mic'd up.
Oh yeah.
At the end, when the Eagles are lining up to kneel it out, like he's screaming at Hurts, "We kept you for less than a fucking 100 yards and all this," and Hurts is like, "Shut up, we won the game." It doesn't matter if you kept me for less than 100 yards. We won.
Lane Johnson though came out afterwards. I was reading online, and I had Chris Johnson. He was talking shit all game. He's definitely one of the best in the business. So, like even with the game lost, that just shows that he was trying to get inside Hurts' head. But I think that was a really defining win for them because, like I say, it wasn't a massive offensive showing, but they still found a way to win. And I think it's those ugly wins rather than the big flashy ones which kind of define you as a team.
Yeah.
Speaking of the mistake that you talk about, one mistake can swing the momentum. It had to be Mahomes' pick.
Yeah.
The interception, the drop by Kelce that was picked off by Andrew Makuba. And ran back.
Kelce needs to calm down. He's on the field and he's screaming at teammates and he's screaming. That attitude is is toxic to a team because guys are worrying then about doing something wrong that will get Kelce up on their face screaming. Like that doesn't work with a team. You make a mistake, you walk away from it, you forget it, you reset. Having a guy screaming in your face because you make a mistake, that's going to derail
But
the team.
that's Kelsey's second critical error in the space of 2 weeks. He also took out Xavier Worthy last week
Yeah.
on the rub route, dislocated his shoulder. So you're missing the Chiefs are missing their top weapon now because of Travis Kelsey. Effectively, okay, you can say it was an accident and these things happen in football.
Yeah.
But like you say, you can't go screaming in people's faces if you've now cost the Chiefs or played a large part in costing your team 2 games now.
And I will say one final thing on the Chiefs Eagles. Dean Blandino, the rules expert, did say on live TV that the NFL officials are possibly looking into the tush push again, because there's been a couple of down the trenches camera shots where all the Eagles tackles and guards all move a half second before the center moves the ball.
Yeah.
So they're all technically false starting. Now, you'll see people saying they're all offsides. No, those are people who've never played football in their life. All the helmets are in line with the ball. The center is always going to be off center to the rest of the team.
But the center is always going to have his head ahead of the rest of the line.
Of the team, yeah. Those people are saying they're offsides. Don't understand ball. I'm sorry. I hate that phrase. You don't know ball, but people are saying they're offsides. Don't know ball, but they do move. There's enough video evidence now. They are moving like half second before that ball is even moved, before the center even twitches. The 4 guys are moving. So I wouldn't be surprised. It's probably not going to happen till the off season.
But they tried to get rid of it at the owners' meeting back in March, the league meeting, and it was overruled. It was kept in. So,
but I think it's because it's getting a little bit more blatant now. You're either going to start seeing refs like watching it closely and flagging a lot more, or it'll come up again in the off season.
Before we do have a quick preview of Monday Night Football, which is tonight. Obviously, we're recording ahead of those games, so these games this podcast should be out around 10:30, 11 o'clock Irish time. So we might get it out just before the games take place. 2 interesting games on Monday Night Football, a rare doubleheader on Monday Night Football because of the West Coast game, which is 3 a.m. Irish time between the Chargers and the Raiders, and the slightly earlier one between the Texans and the Buccaneers. 2 really, really interesting games because the Raiders, read the story during the weekend. I'd love to see the video of Pete Carroll karate kicking through the whiteboard to get his team hyped up. There has to be a video of that somewhere. But like Pete Carroll at 70 whatever years old has come back effectively. I mean, he was kind of ousted from Seattle and he's found a new mission in the desert in Las Vegas. This could be a really good game because I think Geno Smith has found a new home as well, and the Raiders obviously they bet the Patriots last week. Justin Fields and co are coming off that win in Brazil, so it won't be. Say again.
Justin Herbert.
What did I say?
Fields.
Yeah. There you go. It just shows you where my head's at. But Twist, what do you reckon? I mean, a really, really tight AFC West game here.
Yeah, I don't know what Pete Carroll has. Any player who's played for Pete Carroll says he has this insane energy. He hypes people up. You see videos of him throwing absolute rocket passes. You see him running routes and everything, bumping guys on routes, and then you're like, man,
calm down, Pete Carroll.
Calm down, Grandad Carroll. You literally are old man Grandad Carroll. But he has this energy, Russell Wilson has said it, the Legion of Boom have also, they said they'd basically walk across glass for this man. He gets that energy in the locker room, and sometimes when you have a team like the Raiders who have gone through a rough patch ever since they moved to Las Vegas, the fans didn't follow them too much, except Raiders diehard did follow them to Vegas and will continue to support them. But it does feel like it's a lot of the fan base is on the flip side in LA and more celebrity, and in the Vegas Golden Knights hockey team, it feels like it's more celebrity because it's Vegas. It's hard to get an established fan base. But he seems to have done something to this team, and he's lit something in Geno Smith that you could see a fairly decent shootout between Herbert and Geno Smith tonight. Herbert coming off that win in Sao Paulo. What's their wide receiver's name again on the Chargers?
Quentin Johnson.
Quentin Johnson has apparently learned to catch balls.
Mm.
Drops don't seem to be an issue. He had very little issues.
He lit up the Chiefs defense in Sao Paulo. He had a really great game. He's a very underrated receiver, and if you can just, like you say, find his hands, he might actually turn into one of the better receivers in the league.
He does seem to have soft hands now rather than hands of stone. So keep an eye on him. He could light up this Raiders defense. Obviously, Max Crosby's going to want to go out there and notch up a few sacks. He always brings his motor 110%. So keep an eye on him. He could cause issues for Herbert if he gets it going. It's going to be a long night for the Charger fans. Sorry.
And just quickly as well, two interesting teams as well in the Houston Texans and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I honestly haven't done a huge amount of research, but I think they're both 0-1 on the season so far. So it's interesting as well because it's not a conference game. It's AFC South versus NFC South. So but two quarterbacks as well who are kind of have had their ups and downs, but are definitely, I think, trending upwards overall. So should be interesting to see the result of that one tomorrow.
Yeah, Texans are currently 0-1. Buccaneers are 1-0. They squeaked past the Falcons in week 1 because Younghoe missed a field goal.
He was gotten rid of this week.
He missed another field goal.
Falcons bringing in another kicker this week, so
he missed his first kick when he brought him in.
Oh God.
But yeah, I think I don't know what it is about Baker Mayfield. He has this aura, and he has this aura and swagger that as soon as he left Cleveland, he just brought it with him, and he just became a completely different human being and a completely different player. But it's not the aura that he brings to his team; it's the aura he brings out of other quarterbacks. I don't know what he does. He just brings the whole energy of a game when he's on the field up, and you'll see teams he faces. They're always close games. They always end up sometimes they end up shootouts, but you can never look at a Tampa Bay game as far as I'm concerned, as long as Baker Mayfield's the quarterback, you can never look at a Buccaneers game and go, it's not going to be a great game. It's going to be a great game.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've Hall of Fame lock like Mike Evans. Like how could you not watch a game where Baker Mayfield's like lobbing bombs to him? And then CJ Stroud on the flip side, I would say he's gone quiet, but like the talk around CJ Stroud has kind of dipped off. He was.
It might necessarily be a bad thing though for the spotlight to be off the Texans this year. I think there was so much hype around him coming out of Ohio State that he did he hasn't played awful in his, I think it's 2 or 3 seasons now, but I think he just needs the spotlight off him. I think the Texans organization as a whole need the spotlight off them. They had a really hot start last year, and then the poor receiver who got injured, Tank Dell.
Yeah,
Tank Dell blew out his knee, and the season went off a cliff. So I think it's no harm that the Texans have that bit of kind of quiet time now to rebuild and quiet. And I mean, the AFC South is wide open at the minute.
I would say it was wide open until Indiana Jones showed up with the Colts. So with the Texans, I'd be looking over their shoulder. I don't need to look over their shoulder. They need to be chasing the Colts at this time. And but I mean, it's going to be a good game. I think I'm going to give the edge to the Buccaneers just because I love Baker Mayfield as a human and as a player. I know you said you declared your love for him last week. I'm declaring my love for him this week.
Copycat.
Baker Love Fest. But yeah, I mean, if we then flip to the upcoming games this week very quickly.
Just trying to load the schedule here to run through. Yeah, go for
it. The biggest game, you might find a sneaky one with the Commanders and the Raiders, depending how they play. The Raiders play tonight. Eagles Rams could be good.
I was just thinking Eagles Rams could be a really good game. I mean, that could be a really, really good game. Matt Stafford had a good game last night as well, by all accounts. Eagles obviously need a bit more offensive firepower there.
But I think the game of the week next week is Monday Night Football, the Ravens and the Lions. This is, as far as I'm concerned, the season test for the Lions.
Yeah.
They last week won. They beat up on a terrible Chicago Bears this week, which might give them a little bit of momentum and spark, but they're going to face basically the perennial AFC possible Super Bowl representative in the Ravens. If they cannot handily beat them, I think the Lions' window is being slammed shut as we watch it live. If they squeak by them, I wouldn't call it the window just a little bit open. But if they get absolutely blown out, sorry Detroit, you're going to wait another generation.
Yeah. I do. I mean, like, and I think I said it last week as well. This grates me to admit, but I do think this could be the Ravens' year to make it to the Super Bowl. They just have that. They have that vibe about them. They're all playing at a crazy, crazy high level. I think the Bills will just do what the Bills do in the playoff games, and they'll just particularly AFC Championship games, and they'll give it up. I don't see the Chiefs getting back there. I mean, Mahomes is 0-2. Xavier Worthy could be at multiple weeks. Travis Kelce's losing his shit on the sideline. I just don't think. I think this is the year. I mean, I think the Chiefs again, and I'm paraphrasing here from some of the analysis that I heard from Tom Brady last night, but I do think that they're just not hungry enough anymore. They just have lost that hunger.
They got complacent.
There's no fire in the bellies anymore, and I think teams will have sensed that. I think teams will take advantage of that. So I think the Chiefs' kingdom has come to an end this year.
Yeah, I think the teams have started to figure out
the Chiefs.
The Chiefs fairly easy at this point. But yeah, I mean, you're looking at the Super Bowl AFC representative possibly being Baltimore. The Lions need to go out and need to make a statement. I know it's interconference; it's not going to make a big deal. But for any doubters who might be against the Lions, like myself, they need to go out there and they need to smack Baltimore around for 4 quarters the way they done to the Bears. Because smacking the Bears around
it doesn't impress anyone.
It's like an adult beating up a toddler. Anyone could do it. They need to go out and they need to basically punch Baltimore in the mouth and make a statement. And then, I mean, you're like the Chiefs, the Ravens Super Bowl. Yeah, the Ravens might make the Super Bowl, but the Packers are going to get there and beat them. The Packers are going to win the Super Bowl. And then I still say we have to circle back, bring it back for full circles, so we can finish in the endless circle of life. Steelers and Patriots this week. Unless there's a miraculous turnaround in injuries on the defensive back. So
we need Joey Porter and Jalen Elliott back rapidly.
Yeah, rapidly. If they're out again this week, I'm sorry, Steelers fan, but
we're in trouble.
We're gonna watch like Drake May go out and like drop a couple of touchdowns on us. As painful as that is, TJ Watt needs to wake up. He needs he's gone out there and he's playing against offensive lines that a lot of them have rookie guys on his side, and he's just not TJ Watt is a split defensive end linebacker. Sorry, he does drop into coverage quite a bit, so you're going and it's understandable. He's great in coverage, but when he's pass rushing, he's making his mark when it needs to be, but he's not as destructive as he has been in previous years so far. He could end up coming back and just blowing out the rest of the season, but
he needs to put the defense on his back right now. He's the second non-highest paid quarterback in the league. He's our defensive talisman. He's a future Hall of Famer at the age of 29, whatever he is.
This week against the Patriots, Cam Hayward and TJ Watt literally need to carry that defense. Cam needs to get down the middle of the field and smack Dre May and every running back in the mouth so hard that they hesitate coming near his gaps. And TJ needs at least a 2-sack game.
Yeah, at least.
3-sack game just to get the team ramped up, the faithful ramped up, to get the questions of the highest paid defense out of people's mouths.
Well, look, if they don't do something drastic against the Patriots this weekend coming, I dread to think what will happen against Minnesota in Croke Park.
There might be a Guinness drank in that game.
Yeah, well, we might be drowning our sorrows in Croke Park. Luckily, they'll be serving drink. You'll be able to bring beer out into the stands. So the GAA have relented. But look, we have somehow managed to get a 45-minute podcast out of that, which is fantastic. Thank you, everyone, again for tuning in. For listening to all our new listeners and watchers and viewers. You are all very welcome. Do make sure to check out our sponsors, Print My Pint, over in printmypint.ie. Couldn't get them for John's wedding, but we'll be sure to get them. We'll have them down at some event in the near future.
If you're having a party the weekend of the Steelers game, give them a call.
So they're going to be out in force around town. So we'll definitely be sharing a couple of photos of pints of Guinness with the Gaelic Gridiron logo on them.
Steelers logo, Vikings logo, any logo you can think of, they'll put it on a pint for you.
Twist, always a pleasure. I'm going to hit the stop button now. Make sure to follow us on all social media. Check out the competition as well on our social media across Twitter. Win some tickets. Instagram, X, and TikTok. And with that, good night and good luck.